So for my starter, for my plant lab course, I decided to make a smoked salmon bruschetta. Smoked carrot looks is something that I've been doing for a while, but I've sort of been refining it. I used to smoke it with tea leaves, and I started smoking it with manuka when I got back to New Zealand, just so that it has that really woody, smoky taste that I really enjoy. And I found the taste was much better. So I paired it with some spelt bread, which I've toasted, and then I, on top of that, have made a macadamia cream cheese, and then I pickled some cauliflower in a salt brine with beetroot, and then I've also made a shallot puree, and I've marinated some shallots in balsamic vinegar and made a caper dust to go over the top, and just serve that with a little bit of watercress. So it's a really classic dish that you would have got anywhere in the 80s, but I think this is a modern version and I really like it, and I really like how it's turned out. This is my main for my final project. I decided to make a vegan surf and turf. I really enjoy classic flavors. I was classically trained as a chef, and so for me, making food that's super classic and traditional is something that I've really always been interested in. So when someone came to me and said my favorite dish when I was eating meat was surf and turf, I said I'm never going to be able to do that, and then I thought, no, I can probably do that. So what I've created on this dish is I've made a vegan steak. So what it is a black bean loaf that I've stuffed with porcini pate, and then I seared it and sliced it. I've also served it with a cauliflower puree, and then these are Jerusalem artichoke that I've braised in seaweed and lemon juice and cashew cream. And then I have wrapped them in nori so that they have the flavour of the sea. These are just some enoki mushrooms, and then green beans, and then I've also fried, just shallow fried some nori to make what would be perceived as salmon skin, and I've served it with a pink peppercorn sauce, and then I've sprinkled some pink peppercorns and some rosemary flowers over the top of the dish as garnish. I came across quite a few challenges with the dish. I found that making the steak was actually way more difficult than I thought it was going to be. I had initially planned to use polenta, but found that it wasn't the right texture, and it didn't hold together very well. It also really wasn't that meaty and didn't have the flavour that I was wanting from it. So I went through a bunch of different variations of the steak. And then as time went on, I sort of added and took things away from the dish as I saw fit. So it's definitely not the first dish that I conceptualized, but I'm really happy with the final product. So for my dessert, I've made a take on a banana split. I made a banana and ice cream just by blending some bananas up, which creates a really nice frozen element. I've then made some banana chips, which are sort of chewy, and then a black pepper twirl, which is really crispy. I've made a chocolate soil to go on the base, with a miso caramel, which adds a really nice, rich, savoury element to the dish, and then a cashew creme fraiche just dotted around the plate as well. And then I went and foraged some blackberries to be dotted around the plate. I've also made a white chocolate truffle, which is really sweet but adds sort of a more fatty note to the dish. Yeah, I'm really happy with it. I did have some issues with the twirl. I wasn't really quite sure how to make that work, but I realised that flaxseed was the best way to get that to hold together. I really like having the hot black pepper in the dish. It adds something sort of a little bit confusing to the palate, but I really enjoy it. Overall, I'm really happy with this dish. It's something I'm really proud of. It's super classic, something super classic that I made vegan and not really classic, and I really like it.